Behind the headliners, rock thrived with cult favorites and near misses that slipped past the charts. Tonight, we're shining a light on the groups fans swear should have been bigger. Here are 10 underrated rock bands that deserve a second spotlight. Number 10, the Chameleons. Late-night college radio carried Swamp Thing into dorm rooms, its tremolo guitar turning fluorescent corridors into weathered rain-slick streets. Formed in Middleton, Greater Manchester, England, the band learned to turn desolation into width, packing small clubs with ringing harmonics. Early staple Up the Down Escalator snapped like neon, a manifesto of urgency that still left space for vulnerable echo. They lived in the margins, too widescreen for punk purists and too shadowed for pop programmers. You could hear how every bass figure braided tension while drums stayed human, resisting the gloss that buoyed peers into heavier rotation. Meanwhile, that first track held doors open for daydreamers. The single arrived like weather, not hype, and quietly lingered in headphones. Crowds remembered the crescendos more than the faces, a hallmark of cult devotion built on atmosphere rather than celebrity. Return now, and the guitars feel like distant sirens across wet brick, the early single still climbing stairs two at a time. Number 9, the Dream Syndicate. Midnight Feedback blooms through Tell Me When It's Over, a gateway into their tangle of noir guitars and restless streets. The Dream Syndicate came up in Los Angeles, California, carrying the Paisley Underground's glow into rougher, hypnotic corners. Across the days of Wine and Roses, the band frames tension with circling riffs, sudden dropouts, and an unhurried, serrated build. Twin guitars sweep like headlights, then cut left, leaving bass to murmur and drums to jab. Critics leaned in, while small rooms filled with listeners who'd memorized that first single's corners long before bigger rooms called. College DJs worked past midnight, dropping the song between fanzine ads and whispered IDs that made everything feel conspiratorial. That other title became a scene signpost, proof that Patience and Drone could bloom without losing the pulse that moved feet. Unbothered by mass attention, the lived-in and stubborn clarity seeded a cult that keeps resurfacing in new bands. Number 8, the Plimsouls. If you haunted college radio, the Plimsouls flashed like headlamps in the fog. A Million Miles Away arrived with a chiming downstroke and a lyric that felt both desperate and airborne. While Oldest Story in the World tightened the frame with brisk, harmony-lit momentum. Their second album, Everywhere at Once, 1983, sharpened the power pop rush without sanding off the bar band bite. The song passed hand-to-hand on late-night mixtapes, the kind you rewound until the tape wobbled, turning casual listeners into lifers. How Long Will It Take showed their knack for urgency without bluster, all economy and snap. They were never pushed as long-game stars. Weekend gigs and regional spins carried the message further than any glossy rollout ever did. What lingered was the forward pull of those guitars and Peter Case's unguarded voice, the sense that the band stood one exit past the mainstream and liked the view. Number 7, The Call.
When the blew the horn, when the walls came down.
If you haunted college radio in the 1980s, The Call arrived like sirens cutting fog over restless Reagan-era streets. On The Walls Came Down, their guitars punch at the beat while Michael Bin stares down power with preacherly resolve, a broadcast-ready warning that still feels immediate. The Santa Cruz, California group fused muscular rhythm with widescreen keys, a sound that made Let the Day Begin feel like a rally rather than a slogan. And turned I Still Believe, Great Design into a weathered vow.
And through the cheers, oh, I still believe.
DJs loved them for stitching post-punk urgency to heartland grit, so the songs traveled between scenes even when the music industry looked elsewhere. They never camped at the top, but a stubborn audience found them in small rooms, church basements, and late-night shifts, passing tapes and stories. Listen closely, and you hear working band discipline. Rough edges, roomy drums, and melodies built to carry over PA hum, still gathering believers. Number 6, The Alarm. If you caught late-night college radio, their chiming guitars cut through with windswept conviction. The Alarm came out of Real Wales, yoking folkstrum urgency to arena-sized refrains. You can hear the intent on Rain in the Summertime, a salt air anthem built for long drives and festival dust. Earlier, 68 Guns rallied fists with harmonica and gang vocals that still feel like a pub spilling onto the street. Strength added muscle and vulnerability, a widescreen plea that clarified their difference from the bands they were compared to. On stage, they cultivated community, with sing-alongs making balconies feel like the front row despite limited reach at the charts. In the studio, engineers kept guitars bright and the snare crisp to bottle raw stage electricity. College stations and independent shops carried their posters, turning regional shows into modest pilgrimages. That afterglow fuels collectors, who still argue they were a cult stalwart of the 1980s. We're halfway through, and the bands from that era are stirring up deep-cut memories. Which of these underrated acts did you champion, or discover years later through a crate dig or playlist? Got a cult favorite we missed that should have been bigger? Drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear the names that never left your rotation. Number 5, Big Country. Across windswept stages, Big Country turned electric guitars into skirling pipes and marching drums that felt ancestral. On In a Big Country, those harmonized riffs hit like a weather front, bold yet strangely homespun.
In a big country, dreams stay with you like a lover's.
Fields of Fire sharpened the charge, a rallying cry that carried over pub floors and festival fields. They came out of Dunfermline, Scotland, folding folk dance cadences into rock mechanics with military precision. In the studio, chorus-saturated textures and galloping toms built a weathered grandeur that radio often filed under novelty. That tag obscured the songwriting heft, where small-town resilience and working-class pride kept the stories taut and stubbornly hopeful. the 1980s cooled, American listeners often remembered a single hook, while club devotees traded tapes and championed deeper cuts. What lingered was physicality, boots, rain, and ringing steel. Today, their reputation lives in guitar forums, heritage venues, and long drives where that song's wide-open optimism still punches through static. Number 4. The Smithereens. If you listen to late-night rock radio, the Smithereens felt like a secret signal cutting through polished pop. Blood and Roses arrives like a noir postcard, bass line stalking the alley while Pat Denizio keeps the melody unblinking. They came up from Carteret, New Jersey, carrying hooks that sounded written on diner napkins after midnight. On Only a Memory, guitars scrape and shimmer, then pull back just enough to leave breath between chorus and eight. Club crowds leaned forward. Commuters caught the song at yellow lights. DJs kept the faders warm for one more spin. The band never wore arena lifer armor, but they built a dependable circuit where posters and word of mouth did the real promotion. Records felt handcrafted, honest, and slightly dangerous, with harmonies that hugged the edges rather than smoothing them out. When the chorus hit, the ache turned communal, and the lights above the bar suddenly noticed everyone singing the same line. Number 3. Y&T. Bay Area clubs taught Y&T to hit hard before arenas ever knew their name. You can hear that muscle flex on Summertime Girls, a sunshot hook riding power chord grit rather than pure gloss. Paired with the galloping mean streak, the band sketched a blueprint where street-tough riffs met melodic choruses built to stick. The Oakland, California outfit grew from local haunts into lifers who outplayed trends, leaning on road-seasoned arrangements and a singing lead tone. On Rescue Me, the song's pleading verses unfold into a sky-lifting refrain, showing how they could dial drama without losing punch. They were cult heroes more than household names, the kind of act whose patches filled denim jackets at halls that smelled of fog juice. Guitars shimmered with harmonized bends, drums snapped like stage monitors at full tilt, and choruses invited fists without chasing fashion. Fans remember the sweat, not headlines, the grind-first ethic that kept them touring long after radio moved on. Number 2. The Church. In dim college stations, the Church drifted in on reverb and poetry, a cool front after neon pop. Under the Milky Way floated like a flare in fog, its 12-string shimmer and hush drawing the listener inward.
Wish I knew what you were.
They came out of Sydney, Australia, and carried that harbor's long horizon into every delay-drenched chord. Reptile twitched with nervy motion, a tighter groove that still left space for mystery. And earlier, Almost With You traced chiming arpeggios that felt like sunrise edging a dark room. One smash made them familiar, but the catalog stayed a traveler's secret, passed hand to hand by crate diggers. Campus programmers leaned on the mood pieces at night, and callers stayed for the deeper cuts. On stage, the band let crescendos build slowly, rewarding patience with a cinematic drift that never tipped into bombast. Decades on, their influence lingers as indie acts paint space around melody, letting air and echo do the talking. Number 1. King's X. If you listen to late-night rock radio in that era, Over My Head arrived like a prayer set to drop-tuned thunder. King's X fused choir-like harmonies with gritty swing, threading faith and doubt through muscular grooves. And the sparkle of It's Love revealed their pop instincts without softening their edges. On Dogman in 1994, producer Brendan O'Brien tightened the low end and sharpened the guitar bite, letting the lead vocal tower over air that felt carved from concrete. Critics rallied early, yet programmers never fully committed beyond scattered pockets. So the band lived in that charged space where devotees trade tapes and quote lyrics like scripture. Club rooms shook, word of mouth grew, and musicians from the heavy and alternative lanes quietly treated the trio as lodestars rather than radio darlings. Spin this single, then drift into the aching lullaby of Goldilocks, and you hear why their cult never stops recruiting new believers.